completely stand by what I said about the people that are wearing maroon shirts. They are going to, I will guarantee you, represent a military unit somewhere. I'm very close to figuring out exactly which military unit that was. Again, trying to gaslight us and pretend we're conspiracy theorists or like that's stupid. Not a good long-term strategy for Turning Point USA.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Candace. Welcome back to another episode of the Can We Talk About It podcast. And Candace Owens was right yet again. And we have absolute proof that the military was involved in this assassination. So I'd like to remind you what Candace Owens said about the day of the Charlie Kirk assassination. So in that video, you saw that she was concerned about the number of people wearing maroon shirts. And of course, the attack dogs, the flying monkeys, ridiculed her for even thinking. They called her foolish and silly, and they lumped it in with the Egyptian planes and said it was all a farce and that she was lying and that she's crazy and that there's no such thing as the color of the day for the military. And Candace tweeted, this was in December. She tweeted twice about this. TPUSA says it was Erica Kirk who directed them to host a live stream. Did she approve of the letter that Blake read? And then she said, too many men wore maroon on the day of Charlie's assassination, and I'm asking the public to identify them. She also said, already receiving a ton of emails about my throwaway comment on today's episode regarding noticing a lot of male attendees at the Charlie Kirk assassination were wearing maroon shirts despite it not signifying UVU school colors. I had no idea that the color was associated with elite airborne operations, encouraging everyone to hone in on the males wearing maroon that day. And hone in we did. So I want to share with you guys a video from the Epstein files. Well, it's not a video from the Epstein files, but you get my point. It is a video that demonstrates there is a very strong possibility that the color maroon is the color of the day for September 10th. Take a look.
If you don't know, during the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was a significant number of young men wearing maroon shirts.
So as you can see in this video, here were three men, and they do look very coordinated. You can see this sort of like triangular position that they're in right now. This was not the only photo of men wearing maroon shirts. So this was one of the photos that was used to sort of, and they do look military-esque, if you ask me. So this is what she's referring to. It wasn't just these three men. There were actually more. So this was just one of the photos that they used.
Originally, Candace Owens was the first person to point this out, and everybody called her crazy. However, I found proof that she was right. So after she made this claim, a lot of people called her crazy, but then there was also a good amount of people from the military that were saying that's absolutely a thing that the military does during secret operations in public areas. They choose a color of the day. So I started thinking, right? I was like, what if I searched in the DOJ files the term color of the day? And what do you know? I find 40 results of different FBI briefings talking about a color of the day.
Okay, so I made a mistake earlier when I said he was looking in the Epstein files. I meant to say he was looking in the DOJ files, period. I don't think the Epstein files had anything saying color of the day, but the DOJ files in themselves, yes, when operations and missions are over, they do release some information. And so, yes, in the DOJ, if you search the DOJ color of the day, it does show up numerous times, as he's just proven. So the idea that Candace Owens is crazy because she thinks about the color of the day is just insane. It's just blatant deception and lies. Because it's very obvious now that the color of the day is a thing. Whether or not she's right about The color maroon is a different thing, but to ridicule her and to make her out to be psychotic and crazy and narcissistic because she's thinking about the color of the day is pure intentional deception.
And every single one is unredacted. You can see what the color of the day was for that day for whatever military operation was going on. Now, most of the details for the military operation is redacted. However, on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, the morning of, before his death, they established a color of the day for a sit rep, which is just a military situation report. And the color of the day is redacted.
Would you look at that? Now, why would the color of the day be redacted? There are two options for this. Number one, they knew that people would look it up post Candace's episode, and they wanted to make sure that, let's say the color of the day was red or yellow or green, that nobody went around and looked up all of the people who were wearing green shirts on that day. That's option number one. That's the more innocent option. Option number two is the fact that the color of the day was indeed maroon. The strange thing about this, though, is that the color of the day was not redacted for all of the other missions. So either way, they don't want us to know something about the color of the day for the day that Charlie Kirk died. And that, to me, is fascinating and a sign of a cover-up.
Out of 40 different files mentioning a color of the day for secret operations, the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination is the only one that has a color of the day redacted.
And so then at this part, he just says, get this to Candace Owens and her team. And they absolutely do. And so she is, in fact, she did respond to this and said, I was right. And I think what I think is happening here is I believe that Candace Owens already knew that the color of the day was maroon. And I think someone leaked that information to her and gave her that tip to go ahead and look into that. And so even though what I've noticed about Candace is that she will present something as a question as if she doesn't know, and then ask the public to verify it, right? And I think that's because she's already getting tips from people that she knows are pretty verifiably true. And then she just waits for the public to confirm it or someone to come out now. So the next thing I want to show you, because Candace Owens has been right about quite a bit of things. The next thing that I want to show you is the fact that Candace Owens was right about the DNA. And again, I said this in my video about the 12 Lies of Erica Kirk. I said at some point, you can call Candace Owens crazy. You can call her narcissistic. You can say that she's money hungry. You can call her all kinds of things, right? But you can't really call her a liar. You can't really say that what she's saying doesn't make sense. You can't really say that she hasn't been right about a lot of things. And one of the things that she was right about, again, was the fact that there were 5 different kinds of DNA from 5 different people in the investigation on the gun. So I want to show you guys this video from the hearing where this is confirmed. This is not speculation. This is confirmed.
You mentioned the DNA evidence. You're certainly not a DNA expert. Is that correct?
I'm not, no.
And are you aware that the DNA evidence that was seized from the scene consisted of a mixture of at least 5 different individuals?
So the DNA evidence, as Candace Owens, that was seized from the scene had 5 different individual DNA. So 5 separate people were in the area, handled some of these items, 5 different people, yet you want to prosecute just one? Make it make sense.
I'm not a DNA expert, so
So you know enough to say what helps him, but you're not going to answer whether or not there were 5 individuals mixed into that DNA.
I'm not aware of that, no.
Okay. And you're certainly not qualified to interpret complex DNA mixtures, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show this video because there's a lot of people who will come under my page and say, uh, Candace Owens is just attacking a widow. She's attacking a widow. She's a crazy woman. She's mean. She was never Charlie's friend. She's just making money. But the reality is that Candace Owens has been right about a lot of this. And she is right yet again. She's right about the maroon shirts, and she was right about the DNA. Why was the color of the day redacted? And why is it that if there are individual DNA from 5 different individuals, why are those people not being prosecuted? As the children say, the math isn't mathing. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like it on your way out, and I will see you guys in the next one.